The Artemis mission is not only about returning the humans to the moon, but about advancing technology, fostering international cooperation, stimulating the economy, inspiring the public, and securing the United States' position as leaders in space exploration. Similarly, in the 1960s, we were again faced with the space race, only this time with the Chinese, not just the Russians. The United States must be a leader in space, and we must lead by setting the standards we know will continue the incredible innovation and advancement we have fostered here. I have a keen understanding of the important implications of the Artemis program for our economy, national security, and advancement of technology, but do think we need to evaluate the real challenges of NASA we're facing to achieve their goal in a timely and cost-effective manner. I'm going to take a little tack away from our typical questioning, get into a little bit of medicine and human physiology in space as a physician. Recently, the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs and Walter Reed Army Institute of Research have come together to look at a promising technology known as mitochondrial organelle transplantation to address the mitochondria dysfunction and neurodegenerative diseases that we've seen in human beings, but also in astronauts for some reason we don't even know why. Is NASA aware of the work that the VA, and this is an obscure question, so I understand I'm probably talking outside the normal purview, but is NASA aware of this study between the VA and Walter Reed addressing mitochondrial dysfunction, and would they be willing to work towards advancing technology to help these astronauts protect their energy cells, if you will?
So you may or may not know this about me, but one of the interesting career parts of my career path is that I spent 5 years running the Human Health and Performance Directorate at the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. As an engineer running a health and medical organization, I found it very fascinating, and I learned a lot of things about human physiology and how very little we actually understand about how the human system responds in a microgravity environment. And we today do not understand how the human system would respond in microgravity, followed by partial gravity, back to microgravity. The longest duration crew member that we have just recently returned last year, and he only spent 371 days in space. When we go to Mars, we're going to have to spend close to 1,000 days in space. So I recognize that, that the human as a system is something that we need to investigate and explore further. I also know that we have done a number of studies and a number of investigations with the team that we have at the Johnson Space Center on the exact problem that you indicated. I'm not even going to try to spell it or say it as you so eloquently did, because I am not a physician. But I will say that we have made great strides in understanding not only what happens to the astronauts, but what happens to the astronauts and how that can then apply to similar, I'll say, subjects on the ground. And that transferring of that technology and that information has made great strides in a number of medical fields. You can find equipment that we use for treating astronauts in an emergency room anywhere in the United States and around the world. So we do actually partner with them and with others, and I would welcome further conversation on that and putting you in touch with some of the folks that we have that do that work on a regular basis.
I think that's amazing. As a matter of fact, if you want to consider somebody who's a pilot and a physician and maybe a congressman going on one of those missions, just let me know.
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
Dr. Griffin, it's no secret that China has a goal to surpass the United States by 2045. As global leaders in space, we can't allow this to happen. I think the leading edge that we have in space technology will protect the United States in not just the economy, but technologies that can benefit humankind, like we just discussed. As the United States works to recruit additional international partners, how can we, the government, continue to promote its vision in space diplomacy over China? In other words, you can see countries like India putting a vehicle on the dark side of the moon for about $75 million. Now, granted, it's not manned, so it does cut some corners, and they maybe don't have the same bureaucracy requirements. But how can we partner with other countries to make this a more efficient process?
The way we effectively partner with other countries is to establish that we are going to do great things and that there is room for everybody of like mind to join us. We can't partner with people. We can't partner with people with an empty bag. Okay, we have to be clearly seen to be doing things in an efficient, expeditious, focused, determined way. And when that happens, partners will appear.
Great, thanks. And I'll just yield with the statement that this investment is an investment in the future and has great economic and technological benefit to us as we continue to invest in Artemis. Thank you. I yield.